Hello, welcome to Poetry Changes Lives. Good to be back in the garden again, even though it feels like more and more like sitting in a wasteland. Gosh, it needs some work doing. It needs a lot of water, but things will regenerate. Nature has a way of forgiving us. We're responsible for all this devastation, I think. Never mind. I'm not going to go into that. It's a day at a time. Take each day as it comes for me. And I am grateful to be here, sitting in my garden, reading a bit of poetry. It's what I love best. PoetryChangesLives.com, of course, is the website where you can read all about poetry. It's my mission, really, these days, to try and put across the idea that poetry does help people in their daily lives. It helped me, it changed my life. I found that poetry can do so much for my mood, my attitude. It's making me feel better already, just the thought of reading a little bit of poetry. If you want to buy the book, you can get it from Amazon, a bookshop, or the website. It makes a great companion. I take my book everywhere I go, and I give out books to people I meet who come to visit me sometimes, because I want to put across the idea of poetry. I'm not trying to make lots of money out of the public. I just want people to have a nice bit of input into their minds, into their daily lives, as I'm giving myself by reading this. Here's an example of what's in the book. On this day, in 1922, the very English poet, writer, and librarian extraordinaire, Philip Larkin, was born. He's been dubbed the poet of low expectations because he was always a little bit downbeat. He once said himself that deprivation was to him what daffodils had been to William Wordsworth. Can you imagine? Think about that. Larkin's poetry often has great humour, though it's often extremely downbeat and self-deprecatory, but I think slightly tongue-in-cheek. He worked most of his life at the University of Hull as librarian, but discontent with his lot was expressed often in his writing. A very English poet in content and outlook. For example, he once said, "I wouldn't mind going to China if I could get back home again the same day." I rather sympathise with that. Well, I can't read his poetry because it's under copyright, but A.E. Huisman was another very English poet whom I really love and respect for his honesty, simplicity, and grasp of reality. And some of his poems has a flavour of Larkin, I think, like this one called "From the Wash" by Huisman, which is about his laundry. I can sort of imagine Larkin writing this. "From the wash the laundress sends my collars home with ravelled ends. I must fit now, these are frayed. My neck with new ones London made." Or this one, written by Thomas Hardy, is very Larkin-like, I think. It's a sort of epigram. "I'm Smith of Stoke, aged 60-odd. I've lived without a dame from youth time on, and would to God my dad had done the same." I can just imagine Larkin writing that. I do recommend Huisman's poetry, though. Some of it is very fine indeed. So the greatest in the English language, I would say, in many respects. Today I ask that I may be content with my lot and do my daily work as best I can, even if it sometimes seems boring and repetitive, though I have to say it never is boring and repetitive when I'm sitting in this garden reading beautiful bits of poetry. I feel better already. I like that bit about Larkin. Good for him. Very English poetry. I love that. Thanks for listening. I wish you a good day and salute you as a fellow poetry lover.